Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. If you're a focused learner looking to really understand the mechanics and, the major players in global fluid transport, well, you are absolutely in the right place. Consider this for a second. Over the last decade, China's special purpose vehicle industry hasn't just grown, it's undergone a massive, literal transformation. What used to be an industry built primarily to just support their own domestic infrastructure, yeah, it's evolved into an absolute global powerhouse. We're talking about engineering leaps that have totally redefined what a tanker truck can even do. And today, we're going to break down exactly how they achieved it. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the new global powerhouse, decode the manufacturing ecosystem, and introduce the top 10 innovators on the 2026 roster. Then, we'll dig into the actual engineering benchmarks and materials before wrapping the whole thing up with the future of fluids. Let's get to it. Kicking things off with Section 1, the new global powerhouse, a market transformed. So, Chinese tanker manufacturers didn't just scale up, they completely innovated with advanced telematics and high-tensile materials. And to understand how they pull this off at such a competitive price point, you really just need to look at the Suzhou region in Hubei province. It is widely known as the capital of special-purpose vehicles, and for good reason. It clusters over 300 specialized vehicle companies in one single area. Because literally everything, from your high-capacity pumps to the most precision valves, is manufactured right next door to each other. Production costs just absolutely plummet. It creates this hyper-competitive supply chain that allows for almost real-time innovation in things like tank geometries and automated welding. Isolated factories simply cannot match that kind of synergy. Moving right along to Section 2, decoding the ecosystem, how tankers are built. Right, so before you even look at a single factory, you have to understand the unique, collaborative rules of China's manufacturing ecosystem. It's kind of like a giant puzzle. You have chassis OEMs, companies like Dongfeng or Sinotruk, that build the base engine, the cab, and the drivetrain. Then, on the other side of the equation, you have superstructure specialists like Chengli or CMIC, who focus entirely on building the custom tank. And this brilliantly illustrates how the industry works. Most often, a base truck from an OEM is shipped directly to a specialist, where the two pieces are paired together to create the final unit. Which brings up a really critical decision point. Do you go with an integrated manufacturer or a superstructure specialist? Well, if you choose an integrated OEM like Sinotruk or Photon, your main benefit is getting a single point of service and streamlined drivetrain warranties. Super easy, right? But if your operation demands a highly customized tank, say you need extreme chemical resistance, a food-grade stainless lining, or very specific pump configurations, a superstructure specialist gives you incredible flexibility. They can mount their highly specialized tanks onto virtually any base chassis brand you prefer. All right, let's get into the heavy hitters. Section 3, the top 10 innovators, the 2026 vehicle roster. Now that we know how they're built, let's treat this like a dynamic draft roster and meet the titans of scale and transport. First up, CIMC. They are the undisputed global leader in lightweight semi-trailers, utilizing high-strength aluminum and highly advanced KTL e-coat treatments. Then there's Chengli, operating on a massive scale, with incredibly flexible production lines that can mount to almost anything. If you're heading off-road, Sinotruk brings rugged dominance for heavy-duty transport, utilizing powerful MAN technology engines. For reliable exports, Dongfeng provides super robust, easy-to-maintain drivetrains. And rounding out this group is FAW, prioritizing high-torque, high-mileage endurance for that long-haul logistics grind. But what if you absolutely, positively cannot afford a single leak? That's where the precision specialists come in. CSC Truck leverages railway-grade engineering standards for stainless steel chemical and aviation fuel transport. Photon is out there pioneering the smart tanker, actually weaving advanced telematics and active safety directly into the braking systems. Sani, as you might guess, dominates the intersection of fluids and construction with unmatched hydraulic reliability. Zhongnan is your absolute go-to for complex firefighting and emergency fluid discharge. And finally, Zoomlion is leading the green movement, specializing in high-efficiency, noise-reducing environmental sanitation tech. Shifting gears now to Section 4, Benchmarks and Materials, the Engineering Playbook. So the crucial point here is that if you're managing a fleet, you've got to pivot from just looking at brand names to scrutinizing the exact engineering metrics. Take welding quality, for example. Automatic submerged arc welding, that is non-negotiable. Hand welding introduces human error and inconsistencies, whereas automated arc welding ensures consistent penetration to prevent catastrophic leaks under high vibration. Next up is baffle design. Imagine a truck carrying thousands of gallons of liquid suddenly hitting the brakes. That liquid aggressively wants to keep moving forward. Multi-wave internal baffles are designed to reduce this liquid slosh, which maintains vehicle stability and, frankly, prevents catastrophic rollovers. Another truly, absolutely crucial benchmark is ADR compliance for the international transport of dangerous goods. But a quick note of caution here. While a lot of manufacturers might claim to build to ADR or ASME standards, true international compliance is usually only guaranteed by the top-tier makers like CIMC or CSC Truck. Real compliance requires strict third-party verification from organizations like SGS or 2V to actually guarantee your insurance coverage and regulatory approval in those stricter markets. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how material science is just drastically changing the math of logistics. The most advanced manufacturers are using aluminum alloy, specifically the 5083 and 5454 grades, to achieve up to a 30% reduction in vehicle weight. Think about what that actually means for your payload. In markets dealing with super strict axle load regulations, dropping that tare weight means you can transport significantly more product per trip. That directly boosts your profit margins, and you're doing it without sacrificing any structural integrity. And that material choice? It literally dictates the longevity of your entire investment. Carbon steel, like the Q235B grade, is highly cost-effective and really easy to repair, which gives you a very solid service life of 10 to 15 years. But investing in aluminum alloy isn't just about weight. Its natural corrosion resistance means that lifespan jumps to over 20 years. And of course, if you're dealing with food-grade liquids or highly corrosive chemicals, well, going to a stainless steel specialist is an absolute non-negotiable necessity. Let's move to our final segment and see how this all builds up into the future. Section 5, the future of fluids, 2026 and beyond. The logistics landscape is changing so rapidly over the next 5 years, totally driven by these next-generation upgrades. I mean, the era of manual loading, it's basically ending. Automated bottom loading systems in smart valves are quickly becoming standard among top-tier manufacturers, which effectively eliminates the risk of human error and spills entirely. But the biggest shift, for sure, is the powertrain. Companies like Futon and Sinotruck are already out there prototyping EV and hydrogen-ready tankers specifically designed for urban municipal use. Which brings us to the ultimate question for anyone managing logistics today. Look, the technology is here, the materials are lighter, the systems are way smarter, and the powertrains are going electric. As zero-emission zones transition from just a novel idea to be absolute global standard in major cities, is your fleet ready for the EV and hydrogen tanker revolution? Because the top manufacturers in China, they're already building for it. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning out there, and I'll catch you next time.